Let's bring in Scott Reid, CTV News political commentator, who has been patiently waiting as I brought all that news to people at home. Your take on where we stand, my friend. It's right now, let's look at the time, 2:05 Eastern. Where are we at?
It's madness. It's complete and utter madness. Think about how long it just took you to provide an accurate summary of what's happened in the last 24 hours, what it might mean and where we might stand. Imagine now if you're trying to make hundreds of millions of dollars worth of investments in a sector or an industry and trying to decide where you're going to deploy resources over the course of the coming months and year. It's an impossibility. That's why the markets are tanking. Even these notices of reprieve today, which are unclear in themselves, and we can come back to that, but that's not reassuring to the markets because it just is evidence that all of this is improvised, all of this is on a whim, none of this was thought through. If it had been thought through, they would have anticipated market reaction. If it had been thought through, they would have recognized that the auto manufacturing sector is wholly integrated among the three countries and would object strenuously. They would have recognized that a whole series of other industries would recoil in horror. But they seem to be dealing with these things as though they're shocking developments. So that leaves the president to sort of make up decisions on his own, on a whim. There's going to be relief for 3 weeks to Mexico. Will Canada be included or not? Commerce Secretary says one thing, he says another. Even if there is relief extended, it's only until April 2nd. Then we're back into a whole new round of try to identify what the Mad King's going to do next. This is a time of abject certainty, and you're talking about people's jobs. You're talking about the price of milk and eggs. You're talking about whole industries. This is a chaos agent in full flight chaos.
Hey, what about what he posted about Justin Trudeau? What's your read on that, Scott?
It's just troublemaking. I mean, I wish that he would dedicate an ounce of energy to actually trying to fix some of these problems that he himself has ignited. This is just trolling. This is just, feeding the anti-Trudeau crowd. And I'll say this. Whether people like Justin Trudeau or they don't, whether they voted Liberal or they'll never vote Liberal in the rest of their life, at some point, this has nothing to do with partisan stripe or one political actor. This is the President of the United States routinely and flagrantly insulting Canada. You know what? Justin Trudeau is not a governor, because Canada is not a colony, nor are we a state. And every time he issues that insult or tries to rub the Prime Minister's nose in dirt, he's actually doing the same to the rest of the country. We should be as angry as I feel like I am right now, because it is an insult to a great partner, a great neighbor, and we are being treated like trash by the President of the United States, who doesn't appear as though he can make a decision and stand by it, stick by it, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, for more than a few hours.
I'm hearing your righteous anger, my friend. Can I ask you about Doug Ford, who's really kind of stepped up recently? He's now saying, look, if this trade war doesn't stop, the whole thing, not carve-outs here and there, I'm going to put a 25% tariff on Ontario electricity being sent down to 3 U.S. states. Your take?
Well, I think it's actually the most significant development possibly the last couple of days, and I say that for this reason. One, we know that Trump responds to pain. He does not respect supplicants. And that's why it's been good that Canada has been so steadfast and that's been so universal among the Prime Minister, premiers, different political stripes, even the Canadian public and our business leaders. We have to meet this guy with strength. That's what backs him up. That's what's causing him to put in place these temporary deferrals, right? And when Doug Ford elevates and escalates that expression of strength by invoking energy, by making it more expensive to flip that switch in those Midwestern states, that will get the political attention of Donald Trump. That will cause him political grief. That will cause real economic pain. That will cause immediate impacts. So I think it's an important expression of strength. The second thing is it triggers a very uncomfortable but very significant debate within Canada among other energy producing provinces. We've already heard the Premier of Alberta says, no way do we want to have an export tax on oil and gas. Well, Doug Ford is triggering that debate by doing so on electricity. Premier Legault is going to be asked, will he follow Doug Ford's suit with respect to Quebec's electricity? And of course, there'll be pressure on the oil-producing jurisdictions to follow suit. They are not going to want to do it, but this debate and the importance of energy as a real bat that we can swing and connect hard with the White House, this debate is now triggered in a very real way.
One last thing. Can you tell me who you expect would be the best place to deal with Trump come Monday, when the Liberals will choose a new leader on Sunday, and then that person effectively, perhaps as soon as Monday, will become Prime Minister?
Well, I think we actually know the answer to that question. I mean, first of all, I think we know that Mark Carney's going to win, but I think if we take even a look at public opinion polls, it's clear that Canadians, who cares what I think, it's clear that Canadians think, by virtue of their interest and curiosity in Carney, by virtue of the fact that public opinion surveys show that Carney as leader lifts the fortunes of the Liberal Party. Why? Again, these surveys show us because he's most trusted to tackle this issue of Trump and tariffs. So I think he's going to be the leader on Sunday that the Liberals choose. I think that will make him Prime Minister within a handful of days. And I think the Canadians, until proven otherwise, are making an assumption that Carney's unique background as a governor of the Bank of Canada, as governor of the Bank of England, as someone who has worked in the worlds of finance, trade, and the economy, as someone who managed the 2009 global financial crisis and then the Brexit crisis in England, this might be someone that we need for this moment.
Scott Reid with his take. Good to see you, my friend. Lots to cover, as always. Appreciate you taking the time.
These are crazy days, Todd.
They really are. Scott Reid there, our CTV News political commentator.